Welcome back to another episode of our project analysis series, and I'm Eric.
I'm Gina.
Today we're going to be talking about Thomson Reserve. Talking about Thomson Reserve, this is a project that, to be honest, I don't think need any introduction. The whole world, I would say, even the agents, even the buyers out there, everybody is asking about Thomson Reserve.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the main reasons in that area is because the area is
Holland in Thomson area, Ang Mo Kio area.
I would say the north central side. So with the location like Thomson Reserve, as you can see from the image over here, this is the artist impression, and we will go through with you what are the different project details. But today, the main thing we want to actually share with you, why is Thomson so popular?
Somehow we cannot find a problem with Thomson.
It's very hard to find a problem.
Near MRT, near shopping mall, near schools.
A lot of things actually.
Yeah, and it's quite hard to find good facing.
Unblocked.
Unblocked.
Looking at the artist impression earlier on. Whenever we really want to do analysis, we also want to understand, is there a problem with the development, with the whole entire area, even the macro market itself?
Yep.
Is it something that we really have to be concerned about? And is there really a problem with it? So today we will dive deep into it. So like what Gina mentioned, today why Thomson is so popular, followed by how do we select the right unit, as well as what is the value buy. Because today, when the whole world is looking at the same project itself, despite it being a mega project,
Yes.
it's all boils down to luck.
Correct.
You
It's a
need to
matter
have
of your
luck.
ballot number.
Correct.
There is bound to be quite a good number of percentage of people who, despite how much they love Thomson Reserve, they stay next to Thomson Reserve, they will not be able to get a unit there.
Yeah, there's bound to be disappointment, I would
Yep.
say. If you watch this video and you are confused, feel free to drop any of us a text and we'll be more than happy to actually assist you.
Yep.
So why is it so popular? So first and foremost, it is the location. Okay, so this is where Thomson Reserve is at. As you can see, it's directly beside Upper Thomson MRT. Thomson East Coast Line. With Thomson East Coast Line, I mean being one of the Singapore's newest MRT right out there, you can really see what's the appeal in this area. I think this is where you can really see the high demand in this area. One of the main reasons is that there isn't any supply. There is a project back then that it was so popular,
In the West.
yet till today, they didn't really make much money. A word of caution is do not rush in just because everybody is rushing in. You know, you
The
don't want
FOMO, right?
Yes.
Like everybody's getting it. I want a piece of it as well.
Correct.
We know Thomson Reserve is a good location.
Yep.
There is the MRT, the Thomson Plaza. There is Aitong within 1 kilometer.
Correct.
Exercise enthusiast MacRitchie Reservoir, right? We know it's a good location, a very good location. But if it is priced wrongly, or by the time your queue number, you may be the last few, then you're buying the highest of there. Or if the layouts are not ideal, that is something that we want to relook at. We also know that in Thomson area, there hasn't been, like Eric said earlier, there hasn't been many new launches. It's sort of like the last one I can think of is Amor, but Amor is really more Ang Mo Kio.
JadeScape.
And then JadeScape is more Shun Fu, but JadeScape is sort of the closest to us.
Closest.
Think, if I'm not wrong, about 10 years ago is some Thomson impression. So there is a pent-up demand in there, and with close to 1,200 units, we know that all the more we have to select very, very carefully.
Yes, you
in
gotta
this
be
area.
very more sensitive towards what you are buying, because any wrong choice that you do, especially due to the peer pressure as well as the FOMO during booking
Yes.
day, this is something I would say the mistakes that you can't rewrite it anymore. You know.
Yeah. So it will be crucial to deep dive into floor plans. Unfortunately, at this point in time, we don't have the floor plans yet. So please subscribe, follow us.
Yep.
And when the next video comes out, may not be the next immediate, but when the floor plans are out, we will definitely deep dive into the floor plans. And that is where we will guide you on how to select your unit.
Like what Gina mentioned, there is no new condo in the last 5 years or even slightly more. This is why actually buyers that really love this area, they will actually just go for resale because that's the only choice they have, right?
And that helps resale make money.
Yes, this is where something interesting that when we were researching about this area, me and Gina realized, hey, actually, if you want to buy, actually, we can really go and buy resale in that area because there is still a lot of units out there that haven't been sold as a second owner. We have multiple transactions to show that second owner in this area make even more money. This is something that you don't really see in the market. One of the main reasons is really the pent-up demand. With little to no supply and the demand being high, this is what you will see.
Also with the pent-up demand, right? When Thomson Reserves open their door, guess what happens? People who are still like, I don't really want to resale. There's this whole group of people who's going to rush in and buy, regardless of the price, regardless of layout. They just want to own a piece of it. We are asking you to be a little bit more sensible.
A little bit more cautious. So this is where when you can see at this map itself, okay, on the bottom we have Thomson Reserve as well as Thomson Tree, Thomson Impression, as well as this is Panorama and then JadeScape. Like what Gina mentioned, JadeScape is the closest to Thomson Reserve.
Well, Thomson Impression is the closest in terms of distance, but
the
JadeScape,
newest.
Yes, JadeScape is the newest that's closest
Correct.
in that sense. Yeah.
When we look at the immediate resale, what is the effect that has been going on about the resale buyers making a profit over there. This is where you can see
It's quite rare to come by.
in Singapore's market. It's rare, not entirely impossible, but rare. So this is one of the area that we have
Actually,
uncovered.
even rarer that the resale owners earn more than the original first owner.
Yes. Now, over here, this is where we have Thomson Tree, just right behind Thomson Reserve. In 2013, imagine this owner who bought 0903 for a 3-bedroom unit at 1.347 million. They sold about 1.62 million in just about 6 years' time. But in another 6 years, they sold it at 2.28 million. You can actually see that the first owner profit 200 plus thousand.
Yep.
However, second owner,
Profited 660,000.
right? So
Like,
this is
wow.
already more than 500,000 for a resale 3-bedroom over there. Now, this is not one-off cases.
Yep.
And we do see for Stack 6 as well, 4th floor, low floor unit. First owner, they profit 477,000, which is honestly very, very,
Very good deal.
as
Yeah.
compared to the neighbors, right?
Yes.
Now, then following that, the second owner actually made 726.
How?
So this is just one of the examples that we see in this area itself. Resale buyers are also making money. Panorama is also another example whereby Stack 11, 3-bedroom as well, 600 plus thousand for first owner, second owner, they are still making similar profits. Stack 41, 600 plus,
Another
all the way
600
to
plus,
700 plus. 40, 289 to 504.
So we see the consistency of the second owner still profiting a good sum.
Yes. So this is what we see in that area because of the lack of supply.
Yep.
And it will push us up the resale prices. Last but not least, this is where the newest one that we have been talking about.
Yes,
JadeScape.
JadeScape.
Okay, from 100 plus thousand, second owner earned 400,000. Okay, even up to 800 plus thousand. And we are not talking about the extreme biggest bedroom type that we are having. This is just a 3-bedroom.
Yes.
And we are getting a close to $1 million profit already for a resale owner.
And I'm just smiling away because JadeScape has a phenomenal profit for their penthouse,
Yes.
which we will come to it later.
Okay, so we will share with you later and you'll know why she's smiling so much, alright? Then we want to understand a little bit why is this possible in this area and who are actually the buyers of this area, right? This is where we will go through the demographic of Thomson. Now, when we look at JadeScape over here, this is where we can really see 81% of JadeScape buyers are actually Singaporeans, okay? 15% PR and 3% foreigner. But that's not the main thing. The main thing is where are they coming from? If you look over here, more than 55% of the buyers, they are actually coming from private addresses. Now, HDB upgraders, every agent out there will tell you, you need a HDB upgrader so that your property will
To
make more
support your
money.
property, yes.
But this is not what we've been looking at in terms of JadeScape in this
Different
area.
demographics, different estate has different demographics.
Correct.
And Thomson area has a very, remember it's a very landed enclave, a very
Yes.
private enclave. Therefore, we are not as surprised that about 58% of buyers comes from private addresses. For 19% to be PRs and foreigners, how does that translate into them buying into Thomson area?
I think one of the main thing is when they want to go into Thomson area, they don't really have a choice. The area is
Landed,
so
yeah.
much landed that the PRs and foreigners can't really enter into the area.
Because they can't buy landed in Singapore,
Correct.
right? They have to apply to LDAU, but
Approval takes a
rate
long time.
takes a long time and might not get approved. Foreigners and PRs, they want big units. Only way is to go for condos in the
Correct.
area.
We want to take a look at JadeScape profitability. Take a look at the unit type. We have all the big bedroom of the 5-bedroom as well as the one and only 6-bedroom in JadeScape. Now, this has actually came out in the news because
Yes.
the highest profit is actually a whooping 4.35 million.
This person basically earned a inter-terrace.
In for about 5 years' time. We want to understand also why are people willing to pay for this
Yes.
kind of pricing when they can
Yes.
go for a lot of other
How?
choices.
Yeah,
right?
why?
Now, then we take a look at the 5-bedroom itself. Most of it, 1 over million in terms of profit. And their holding period is about roughly 5 to 6
5 to
years
6
time.
years. Buyers, following up on buyers in Thomson area, right? Let's look at level 20 and level 22. Level 20 done at 4.9 mil, level 22 done at 5.05. Today, all of you can see transactions, right?
Yep.
On SLA website. Why would someone now come in and buy level 11 at 4.968? Why am I paying that much for level 11 when 20 and 22 is paying close to what I'm paying?
So almost a 9-level difference. We are getting about 68,000.
Yep.
Just 68,000 difference.
It doesn't make sense on paper.
Yep.
But again, Thomson's demographic is such that people who wants to buy in will buy in, especially if they want a big units, right? Let's look at perhaps landed owners who wants to right size. They're used to big units. They need that size. They are willing to pay for it. And then that also makes the owner a 1.77 mil profit.
The most important thing when we want to take a look at this is because the entry price. Your entry price, you have to be very, very sensitive.
Yes.
because the entry price will actually determine
How much you earn.
correct, and in terms of how you exit in future.
Correct.
Okay, so this is something that the whole video today we really want to talk about this itself. But there's also another factor that we will touch on later on in the video. All right. Now then, the question we have is when we understand all the big bedroom types. Today, if you have 5 million, you are preparing 5 million to actually buy a property. Which would you go for? The choices that you have right now is actually a 99 years leasehold at JadeScape compared to a freehold inter-terrace, about 1,008 square feet in terms of the land size. Which one would you go for? Yeah.
And why we pick 5 million is because we are seeing JadeScape's 5-bedder going at 5 million, right? So we're not like just plucking a 5 million out of nowhere. So it's in relation to that. Which will I go for? Depends on how deep my pocket is.
What do you say there? Isn't it same price?
No, it's not same price. It technically looks like same price, but what are the other, I won't call it hidden costs, but what are the other relevant and related costs, right? So if you're looking at 5 mil, what's your outlay? 25%.
Yep.
1.25 mil, right? So if a condo, because it's only about 3 years old, minimum reno, let's say I put in another 50K.
Because reno has already been done by the developers, the basic ones.
So I do put in another 50K I come to about 1.3 mil. So that's my outlay, 1.3 mil. But if I buy a landed at 5 mil today, what can you get? I mean, how good and how pretty and how livable a landed you can buy?
I mean, if you look at the photo, not really, unless you're gonna rebuild it or you're gonna do A&A with it. But with that itself, I think the requirement to actually just A&A, minimum 500,000. To rebuild, it can go up to even 2+ million. It depends on your taste and the way you want it to be.
I wouldn't even think A&A 500 enough. Like reno internally, I think 500 already. So internal reno 500. If you want A&A, maybe about 1 mil, right? And then if you want to tear it down and build it up, another 2 mil. So we're looking at outlay of, and then we add on to the 1.3 earlier, right? Because that's the same 25% each.
Correct.
We're looking at 2.3 to 3.3 mil. So that's what I mean by depends how deep my pocket is,
correct,
right? Because that it's outlay. It's not even, we haven't even touched any loans or whatever yet, right? So the question here is, how many have this equity to buy the landed?
Not much. So I think when we really dive deep and when we think about this question that we have, then we realize actually with all the extra expenses, and I'm not even talking about after you stay in and you maintain, right? What are the costs that you'll be incurring?
Even before you stay in.
Just even before you stay in, you're incurring 500 to even 2+ million depending on how you want it to be done.
Yes.
But whereas when we go into a JadeScape, a 5-bedroom itself, you get the enough bedroom, the good layout that they have over there, and your renovation is minimal. This is where a lot of people actually choose JadeScape. I think it makes a lot of sense.
The other factor is also the time. How much time do you have to wait?
Oh yes.
Right? Because with the landed, the reno is going to take you a long time. If you do A&A, even longer. If you're going to do a rebuild,
so much
way
more
longer. So if you, let's say the young couples now staying in parents' house, it's okay, I have all the time in the world, go for the landed, right? And you have the equity, go for the landed. But really it's about how much time, because you are paying the loan for the landed, the monthly installment. Let's say you're renting, you're paying your rent. On top of that, I don't
renovation
know.
costs.
And your renovation, if you take a reno loan, let's say, then your reno loan as well. So it's a lot of monthly installment.
Yes.
But mainly is how much time do you have to wait to move into the house. So that are the main two factors, I would say. So given what I've explained, I would go for JadeScape.
It makes a lot more sense if you ask me.
Although on paper, owning a private landed, even if it's an inter-terrace, makes more sense. But circumstances might not always allow.
So this is why I think in this area itself, why the JadeScape, you can see that the 6-bedroom itself earning 4 over million. I think that is one of the reasons that we are actually looking at today here. Now, everybody say buy. But I want to share with you something which I think both Gina and I have already kind of done our research a little bit. And these are the few reasons why we may not buy Thomson. Okay?
Let's talk about why we may not buy. But I think one of the things that we always need to do when we are buying, right? It's not just like, I like this, I buy this. It's not, technically a property is not like clothes. You buy it, you wear it, you don't like it, I dump it away or give it away, right? So it's never about that. And Eric, have you got clients always asking you, when is the best time to buy? Is it the best time to buy now?
Always.
Like that is frequently the minute we sit down at a gathering, hey, how's the property now? Is it a good time to buy now? Can I enter now? I would think it's never about when's the best time, but it's more of, and not even which project is the best to buy, but more of what's your unique profile.
What's your own situation, I would say.
Yeah. So like earlier we talked about timeline, we talked about your equity, right? So it's about understanding your financials, what you can afford. And then based on that, we look at what kind of projects you like. Does it make sense to enter in? Or does it like, maybe not. Let's look at alternatives, right? And if you, let's say, miss, in this sense, Thomson Reserve, what are the current best buys? What can you buy now? What can you buy in the 6 months? Because, and why we're telling you this, very, very highly likely, right?
Oversubscribed.
Thomson Reserve will be oversubscribed, okay? Hence, be prepared for alternative considerations.
When we look at the price matrix, the approximate price matrix, disclaimer, this is not by developers, but this is just pure simple math to actually calculate how much the developer might be selling.
And a lot of these are guesstimates, okay?
Of course.
Because even the bedroom sizes, we have nothing from developers as yet.
Yes, we only have the very simple site plan, unit mix, that's about it. So this is something I'll share towards the end of the video. But for this current juncture itself, what we want to understand is, okay, if today you have a very, very good number, you are getting maybe 2007, 2008 per square feet. That could be their estimated starting from prices.
Likely.
What if your Q number is not that ideal? You could be looking at 3001, 3002 per square feet. And then a lot of people say, wow, RCR, 3002 plus per square feet. Is it safe buy? Is the entry price safe? So this is why we want to understand a little bit as the macro market, as you mentioned earlier. Is it still good buy? Despite it being, ticks all your boxes, MRT, unblocked view, school, etc. Because when we look at 3001, 3002 in terms of the price quantum, there is opportunity out there for you.
Don't make Thomson Reserve an emotional buy.
Correct.
Right? So come down a little bit, look at finances, look at what other opportunities are around. What's next is we will show you examples of somebody who could possibly have went in with an emotional buy, bought at a high. Again, disclaimer, we are not saying that those developments, everyone is losing money or everyone did not earn as much. We just picked up examples of if this person had done this, what are the possibilities and what are the potential.
This is where we want to talk about the different regions in Singapore. So we are talking about a specific same exact time frame itself if the buyer themselves have done differently.
Yep.
So for example, over here you can see we have Woodleigh Residence, which is RCR, which is also Thomson Reserve.
Thomson's
right?
RCR.
Imagine today you are a buyer that actually bought Woodleigh Residences over here back in 2021 at about 2003 per square feet. And then you exited in 2024 about 2,005 per square feet. It brings you to your entire return of your investment about 29%. Now, what if they have actually chose another project back then? Now, which is Leiden Green. Because at that point of time, during 2021, the RCR and the CCR market, there is no price gap in terms of these two particular projects itself.
And why do we say no price gap?
Because
cannot be, right? CCR, RCR, how can be no price gap? Let the numbers show you.
now this is where you see Leiden Green. You are buying in at about 2,003 plus per square feet as well. And then 2024, if you exited the same period, your return of your investment is about 50 to 57%.
Yes.
Slightly less than half actually.
And look at the one that's bought. One of this unit is bought on the 25th of July, which is just 5 days later than the person who bought Woodleigh Residences.
Correct.
So if this person had tarik a little bit, think about it. Look at other possibilities. Could he have gone in for Leiden Green, which is a CCR, 5 days later, and potentially made a profit of 193,000, which is about 57.
So now, when we look at this itself, do take note, this is for investors.
Yep, because you can clearly see from the date that this person sold it, it's a 3-year. So once past the 3-year SSD, this person was ready to sell, and it's, to me, quite clear that it's an investor.
Alright. So if today you are an investor itself, it is very important for you to know what is out there in the market rather than tunnel vision and just look at Thomson Reserve.
Thomson Reserve.
Right, now the next example, same thing, a RCR in one per bank compared to Leiden Green CCR. During that time frame itself, same thing, July 2021, 2452 per square feet, exited at about 2677 per square feet. If they were to went to Leiden Green, your ROI from 36% can actually jump to 50 to 57%. You realize the price gap itself,
it's a negative price gap.
negative 5.45%. Why do we say it's negative? Because in the CCR Leiden Green, they are transacting lower than the RCR market. When CCR by right, they are supposed to be higher.
Again, same thing. This one Pearl Bank was bought 23rd July 2021. If this person had tarik and bought 2 days later, 25th July, the profit would have gone up a little bit from 167 to 193.
And maybe even close to 200,000 over here, as you can see. It really depends. Okay, but this is just an example of the possibility that the buyer if they have chosen differently, what is their different effect?
Let's see another example.
So,
4-bed.
previously we were just talking about the smaller bedroom for the investors. Now, I want to go towards more for own stay. Now, own stay buyers, definitely some of them, they might want to flip it, depends. But most of them, they are still wanting to stay for a slightly longer time. 4-bed RCR over here, Woodley Residences, December of 2021, they enter 2001 to 2003 per square feet. Now, and then they exited about 2.5 to close to 2.7. If they have entered core central region at about 2.5, 2.6, just an additional 13% price gap over here. When we look at the ROI, this is where we can see the significant jump from a 6-figure profit to a 7-digit profit. Look at the past few slides that we have been using. You do realize Leiden Green keeps popping up.
Yeah.
Because they have a similar trait that Thomson Reserve currently have, which is low supply.
Low supply.
Because when we really deep dive into the area itself, for your reference, Leiden is over here. They are sitting in between two different MRT, which is Farrer Road MRT as well as Holland V. And what is the similarity? Is basically during that entire time frame itself, within the vicinity, there is no supply. Okay, if you can see from here, I chose a date from 2020 all the way to December 31st, 2025. We chose all the resale, sub-sale transaction. I want to find out whether is there any other projects out there transacting. And we realized that there's only one project with 5 transactions.
That's Leiden Green.
In the entire 5 years.
Yes.
So this actually shows us that this area do not have any supply.
And we're not saying that this area has got no condos, yeah?
Yeah.
So there is the Leiden, there's Leiden Residences, there's Leiden Green, the Leiden
Multiple.
clusters are already there. And then on top of that, there are many smaller boutique developments. It's not that there are no condos, but yet in a 5-year span, only 5 transactions and they're all at Leiden Green.
One of the main reasons why you see that's the case is because we chose minimum TOP of 2020. As a lot of buyers over there, they as a human behavior, I think we would
newer.
as new as possible, right?
Yep.
So this is where we chose 2020 onwards for TOP dates, and we only see 5 transactions for that one development. So this is something that is very, very similar to Thomson Reserve itself. This is something that you want to take note of.
We are also saying here that the Leiden Green, right? Your ROI is like 2 times, close to 2 times. And on top of making a sensible choice of purchase, the other thing that helped push Leiden Green was also the undersupply. Yeah, so we're connecting that back to Thomson Reserve as well.
Correct. This is where we'll touch on the outside central region of Singapore as well. Okay, because RCR, Thomson Reserve, and OCR, which is the rest of Singapore itself, the mass market, we want to understand a little bit in terms of the price gap.
So earlier we showed you from Thomson, right, which is RCR. If you are at the Q number whereby the price feels a bit high already, we are saying let's look at CCR, because CCR, there are stocks available still. But we're also saying you can also look at OCR. And to buy into OCR, it could mean you buy the same, let's say 4-bedder, or it could mean that with the same amount of funds you have, you could go into a 5-bedder. And that's why we're also showing you RCR to OCR's comparison.
Correct. We all know RCR is more expensive. So when we go to OCR, we have even more options. So how will that option be if you have chosen differently? When we talk about the different options that can go for OCR, especially for the bigger bedroom type, this particular buyer in Woodley Residence, if they have chosen differently, the outcome will actually be drastically different as well. As you can see, if they chose Clavon, their profit can go up to 900,000.
600 to 900.
Yeah.
Still better than 400 plus.
Correct. So you get close to 2 times in terms of the profit. So don't just tunnel vision on Thomson Reserve and keep your options open, and at the end of the day, down to your ballot number lah.
Yeah, but we're also not saying don't buy Thomson Reserve, okay?
But these are just a few reasons why.
If your Q number is good,
go for
if your Q
it.
number is good, go for it. If you know the price is good, you have got the layouts we would recommend in the next video. You have got options of those layouts. Your Q number is good, the price is good, go for it.
But if you don't, there are other opportunities out there that we know of. As of this point of filming, if you want to go towards the core central region, we already have 2 projects in mind. Number 1 being
Aurea,
as well as Union Square Residences. And if you want to go towards OCR to actually expand from a 4-bedroom, suddenly you want to go to a 5-bedroom. It's a neighbor of one of the example that we showed earlier.
Oh yes.
Okay, neighbor of Clavon, which is Alta.
Alta.
Okay, so if you want to understand a little bit better, a little bit more, if all these options are good choice for you or not, this is where you can actually connect with us, and then we'll be more than happy to actually share with you.
Right, and next we come to the discussion about right layout.
I think this is very, very, very important, especially in a project whereby you probably either could get priced out or don't have
Good ballot number.
Choosing the right layout it is very, very crucial.
And even if you have the good ballot number, choose the right layout. Let's talk about why we think that right layout is important. We're going to show you two developments that are right next to each other. They are near the MRT as well, in the very coveted Bishan area, which is near Thomson, right? You would have heard of Sky Habitat, you would have heard of Skyview. These two projects are right next to each other. Now, Sky Habitat has got a very famous architect. Well, I cannot pronounce his name. I'm not going to try to pronounce that, but you can Google it, okay? It's the architect for Jewel, MBS, and Interlace. With such a famous architect versus Skyview, like same developer, looking normal-ish, like the average condos in Singapore, but it's right next to Sky Habitat. Who do you think perform better? Who do you think have a better layout, and who do you think perform better?
I would choose Sky Habitat. I mean, looking at the site plan, it looks like, it's properly
look at the
planned.
image. Look at
But
the
then
image.
Skyview, when I look at it, the
Like squashed.
internal is a little bit squashed, it's a little bit claustrophobic in that sense.
Yeah.
I would choose Sky Habitat.
I mean, I always pass by Sky Habitat and I'm like, wow, very pretty.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like a leather,
Correct.
it's really, really pretty. But let's look at transactions. Let's look at profitable and unprofitable sales. Over here, the green shows you the profitable sales and that peach color shows you the unprofitable sales. Can you guess? One is Sky Habitat and one is Skyview. Which is Sky Habitat and which is Skyview? We will show you the answers in the transaction forms. Over here, you can see Sky Habitat, and these are all unprofitable transactions. Like 9 unprofitable transactions for Sky Habitat, and for Skyview, only 1. And if you look carefully at the holding period for Skyview, 7 months and 1 day.
This is a one-off case. It's not normal.
Very not normal.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who would hold for 7 months? Kena SSD then? I
Really?
wouldn't even think of it as unprofitable. I would think of Skyview as 0 unprofitable versus a Sky Habitat with 9 unprofitable. And we filtered throughout 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. And you can see 1, 2, and 3 bedders, all 3 shows unprofitable transactions in there.
When we look at the right layout, which is the focal point of this topic, this is where we really go into the 2 beds. Not to say all are unprofitable, okay? As what you can see over here. There are some, they are profit.
There are 3 profitables and 4 unprofitable.
But their profitability is from 15,000 to 177,000.
Or rather, if you look at it, right, one is 15,000, one is 21,000. It's actually, if you count the stamp duty that they paid for it, it's unprofitable also.
So
that's only the 177 that is profitable.
yeah, so this is where I think the layout is very important, because when we look at Skyview itself here, 2 bedroom, basically no unprofitable transaction
Yep.
over here, and the profitability, it ranges from 200 to 300 plus thousand.
Yes.
But why is it so different despite it being left side by side?
Side by side, and with Sky Habitat looking more glamorous.
So this is where we want to understand.
Yeah. So we show you the layouts for Sky Habitat and Skyview.
Okay, so by now, Sky Habitat is the one that has more unprofitable. Those profit one can consider unprofitable lah. Okay, now this is where we really dive deep into the layout itself, and we realize Sky Habitat size not bad, but the layout when we go into the house, I feel like I'm going into a math lesson with the trapezium,
Geometry,
shapes.
right?
Yeah. So this is where we have both.
So you
same
come
thing.
in with a rectangle and then
Yeah.
you have a square
Correct.
kitchen, but still an open kitchen.
And we head into the living as well as the balcony. I think this plays a very big part, which the living room over here and the balcony is, I would say, sengit one side. Okay, even the master bedroom got balcony. That's a very nice thing, but also
also
sengit. Okay, now when we look at it this way, the impression, especially when resale buyer goes into the unit, plays a very, very big part. Imagine walking through the main door and you see another wall over here, which is the balcony wall.
Yes.
You don't get that very grand, very nice
Yes.
and homely feeling
Correct,
that
correct.
Skyview actually gives you.
And it being a 2-bed, 2-bath in that sense, it is the second bath is actually a powder room. It's just a small tiny one. You do makeup and stuff. You can't even shower in there. I mean,
It's-
well, you can if you want to force your way into showering in
Correct.
there. You can, but it's really only a powder room.
Yeah. So as compared to Skyview itself, they are giving you functional layouts with 2 beds and 2 proper bathroom.
Yep.
So like as you
And
can
an
see.
enclosed kitchen.
Oh yes. So as you can see over here, the main door coming in, your dining area followed by your living and a proper square balcony and a enclosable kitchen.
Tuck away, and what I really like about the kitchen is I walk to the end of the kitchen, the door I can get to the balcony.
Yes, over on this side.
Yes.
So this is where we have a big master bedroom and a common bedroom over here. So as you can see, if you are just buying purely based on floor plan and not the entire project itself, just based on floor plan, I would believe most of you will actually choose Skyview.
Skyview. Yep.
I mean, that is my personal opinion, how I would choose as well.
Yes. However, the thought just came. There will be artsy-fartsy people who will like Sky Habitat lah.
For sure.
But then you need to sell to artsy-fartsy people as well, right? I mean, I appreciate Sky Habitat's architecture layout. definitely.
Yep.
Right? And people ask, and then how come the balcony they design like that? They design it to merge with the
Landscape,
external
yeah.
facade of the building.
Correct.
So there'll be passive people who want, for sure. But if your intention is to sell it and then the mass market people, then you need to consider what mass market people prefer and are looking for. So that is our explanation in that sense. Of course, we can do the 3 bedrooms and so, but we're just using a 2 bedroom to show you an example. Some of you may say, oh, how come your transactions are from January 2012 to December 2019? Why? It's pre-COVID. Because if we show you the data that's up till now, basically everything is profitable. If you remember what happened to COVID pushed up all our resale prices in a straight line up for a while.
Correct.
It wasn't even a gradual curve. It almost went vroom and then went straight up. If we choose data that's up till today, almost all will make money.
Correct. Which I don't think is fair because right now we are already past COVID, a point that has already turned.
If you are looking at today's, right, it's hard to determine which outperform who. In a sense, we are not trying to implant the idea that Thomson Reserve will have bad layouts.
But you have to choose very
carefully. Okay, so when layouts come out, study it, look at it, and choose very carefully because now we know we have a JadeScape that has done very well. And Almo Residence has also TOP. Okay, so you have got 2 close competitors. Also because Thomson Reserve have 1,200 over units.
So mega development, a lot for you to choose, but you might get paralyzed from analyzing.
Paralyzed from analysis.
So I think that is very important. I think the main thing over here you want to know is choosing the right layout, which we will go through with you when the layouts has been announced by the developers themselves.
So when supply is more than demand, you suffer with bad layout. High demand, then the demand cushion your layout.
Correct.
Yeah, imperfections in that sense.
Yes. The last portion over here, this is where we have the basic info from the developers themselves. Okay, the developers are actually UOL, Singland, and Capital Land. Sound familiar?
Oh,
Sky at Holland.
Yes.
So Sky at Holland, excluding Keng Leong. Okay, this is actually the developers for Thomson Reserve. So this is actually a draft site plan from the developers, still pending the authorities' approval. But this is where you can see we have a
very pretty,
exquisite lens shape.
Yeah.
But I think it's very interesting. So for those who want to orientate yourself, MRT is actually over towards the bottom right. So you do see that there is a lot of water. Thomson Reserve being a mega development, definitely they need pools as well. So this is where we have it. Okay.
As is from the site plan, I can already see a lot of unblocked. I would think from maybe, don't quote me yet, but I would think from mid-floor above, you will get a lot of unblocked views already because surrounding it landed, except Thomson Tree that's just behind it.
Correct.
But the developers have already very smartly placed the blocks away from Thomson Tree side, so I can see a lot of unblocked.
I wouldn't say this is a conventional kind of site plan whereby you see all the blocks is north-south
Yeah,
facing.
it's not.
This is something that if you have a particular facing that you really like or you prefer based on feng shui or whatever, this is something that
you
can
have
really
got loads to choose from.
Yeah, correct. So the next thing is actually the project info that we have gotten. Okay, so 1268 unit from 2 bedroom all the way to 5 bedroom. We have 50% parking lot over here, which is very generous in today's market.
You're right next to the MRT.
Correct. 2 blocks of 30 stories, 4 blocks of 21 stories, and the different facilities out there. In terms of unit mix, the main thing that we want to see here is 84% is the 2 and 3 bedroom. The 4 and 5 bedroom make up the only 16%, which is similar to what JadeScape have.
Yes.
In that sense, the bigger bedroom type has lesser supply.
Yes.
So you know what we are referring to, right? Okay, so 1268, 100%. That's it for our part 1 of Thomson Reserve. Stay tuned to the next episode.
Remember to subscribe so that when our next video comes up, you'll get pinged.
And my name is Eric.
I'm Gina. See you in the next one.
See you.
Bye-bye.